How cold is it, Pete? You dang ferret.
And yeah, I know it's not northern cold, but it's Arkansas cold. That's cold enough for me.
What cold slither. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and let's start off this week with a little correction. Last week, in all of my Robo Don't Know-itness, I had said that the Critical Role Vox Machina animated series was starting on Netflix that day. I was wrong. It's actually on Prime Video. In fact, it says it right there on the McFarlane Toys action figure packaging. Quite a few of you caught that slip up, and let's just say you're trying to keep me honest. I appreciate that. I don't know why I had Netflix on the brain, but in my defense, those pictures are not floating right here beside me. I can't just look at it and go, oh, yeah, it does say Prime Video. I do have some notes, but all the pictures are in my head, and I will admit that it is far from photographic. That's why I constantly look down when it comes to numbers, like releases, prices, stuff like that. I only remember plastic and paints, not details and dates. Oh, that's a mite poetic. Something else from last week was the Four Horsemen Figura Obscura Krampus. Figura Obscura. There's another set of words to trip up a backwoods tongue. Figura Obscura. Locked in. It's not locked in. Anyway, the original version of this Krampus was offered twice on a Sunday, and both times it sold out really quick, and they said it's coming back. And here's that, in a different flavor. Version 1 was mostly dark colors. This new one has red skin tone, splash of green against the black armor parts. I think this makes it feel a bit more Christmassy for some reason. I know red and green is Christmas, but throwing that in there with a touch of not so Christmassy, I like the contrast. Not just in colors, but in thought process. But it does help the details pop. It's easier to see. $65 due out before this year's holiday season. A couple of Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse Revelation updates. The King Grayskull is now up for pre-order on Target. Like a lot of these new pre-orders, we had seen this figure originally at PowerCon, but pre-order means pretty promotional pictures. It is a deluxe set, so he comes with a little extra, like alternate angry head, both halves of the sword, shield, alternate hands, cloth cape, and fuzzy collar. Fuzzy is okay. Flocking is bad. Hear that, toy companies? Bad. Looking at the pictures, and yes, I know we just had this whole conversation about how the pictures aren't here, but I can't help it. Looking over the pics, the hair seems to help the tiny head syndrome that I feel like the rest of the line has, or I'm slowly becoming accustomed to that look. You know, as a kid, the vintage Masters of the Universe figures, they were way too muscly. They were way too squat, but in our heads, it's right, because that's what we've known for so many years. And I feel like the Masterverse is having that same effect. $30 ships soon. That is actually what the Target site says. Release date coming soon. Or, well, I guess that could mean the release date itself is coming soon for a later date. But it's coming out sometime in the future. But that's not all. We also got a new promotional picture of the upcoming pre-time jump Tila from Amazon UK. Again, we saw this at PowerCon, but this gives us a look at the alternate angry head with the hair down, and then a better look at the colors on the figure itself. This is the only shot included. This figure is supposed to come out in March. We may get the rest of the promotional pictures before then. Either way, Tila's coming soon also. If you missed out on the Roboskull Mark II Kickstarter, you're going to get another chance to put a big flying noggin bone in your collection. Now, the Roboskull itself does come with 4-inch figures, and if you scroll down on the site, there's offerings of other 4-inch figures, but this is Fwoosh, baby. You know what we talk about here. It's all about the 6-inch. Mostly. Thankfully, the Roboskull does offer 1/12 scale figures. Because brilliantly, they made the ship compatible with both. There's 2 seats for the 4-inch scale, 1 seat for the 6-inch. So you can use it anywhere you want. Oh, well, I guess you can't use it in 1/6 scale or 1/4 scale. You know what I mean. For 6-inch, there's the Wolf Trooper with arm blades, rifle, pistol, jetpack, and helmet. And then along with that is a pilot kit to change that Wolf Trooper into a Blood Wolf or a Weasel pilot. Then there are variations on the Wolf Trooper with Jungle Wolf and Geyer Wolf, who is new on backer kit. Finally, there is Skeletron, and the customizing potential comes to mind. I can finally use that Silvermane head that came with the Marvel Legends Speed Demon. Give him a body. add a little paint, spruce it up. Or just leave it like this and have an army of them marching on any of your displays. It would be right at home. $35 each, except for the pilot kit, that's $20, and then the Roboskulls are $219. Link is in the description if you're interested. Super 7 has been doing teases and reveals all week, and while it seems the majority are reaction, on the Ultimates front though, I'm gonna say Ultimates a lot, so I'm saving it, okay? It's a coming. On the Ultimates front, there is Bruce Lee. Ultimates! Caught you off guard. Wave 1 of the Warrior and the Challenger. Looking at them through the eyes of my own collecting philosophy, I will agree with some posts that I've seen saying that if there's any person that deserves double joints and more range of motion, it's Bruce Lee. In the overall scheme of things, though, it ain't all about me. There are people who collect specifically Ultimates. This is for them, because Super 7 has their own style. They have their own aesthetics. They're gonna make Super 7 Bruce Lees. And if this isn't up your alley, there's Bruce Lees from other companies. Think of it this way, plastic starts formless, shapeless. If you put plastic into a Super 7 mold, it becomes a Super 7 action figure. You put plastic in an SH Figuarts mold, it becomes SH Figuarts. You put it in a Diamond Select mode, it becomes Diamond Select. Plastic can flow or it can crash. There's nothing inherently wrong with any of these shapes, it comes down to your personal preferences. Be plastic, my friend. $55 each, scheduled for winter of this year. Okay, it has been a long time since I've talked about something that I have absolutely no clue about. Well, okay, probably not that long. In fact, every weekly I'm probably talking out of my ass at some point, but this scrolled across my socials yesterday and I figured, hey, why not? When it comes to Sailor Moon, or more specifically Eternal Sailor Moon, nothing. Nothing in the noggin. I recognize the characters, that's about it. I know it has something to do with moons and planets and tuxedos. It's a nice enough looking figure in all of its Sailor Moonness, but what caught my eye, and this is going to sound weird, is the translucent hair and ribbons. There's just something about that I like, you know? It's a neat little feature. Gives it kind of an ethereal look. And I think the wings are also translucent, but they're thicker, so they're not as see-through. Plus, it's apparently the 30th anniversary. So maybe this is a special release of some kind? Hey, 30 years. Is this when she went to heaven and trained with King Kai? Oh, did you hear that? That was like 1,000 heads exploding. No! This will be about $55, releases in June. The Hasbro Transformers team had a Fan First Friday right as I was walking in here. I'm recording directly after. I haven't had time to ponder on the pictures, so we're just going to quickly go through what they revealed. There's the Studio Series Bumblebee Movie RC. And honestly, I've seen Bumblebee a couple of times. I don't remember RC in there. I'm sure she was. Because they talked about how good she looked in the movie. Also, Ironhide, who, I think this mold existed before that. Was it Ratchet? That's usually the case, isn't it? Ratchet, Ironhide. More up my alley is the Studio Series 86 movie Junkyard. I recently opened up Redgar. I liked it. It was a pretty cool figure. Laser gun nipples and all. And this looks like more of the same because it uses parts of Redgar, but then there's new parts too to make it Junkyard. But Dinobots, ooh, there is sludge a-coming. They say the robot mode is as big as Grimlock and Slug. I still have to stop myself to remember, oh, now it's Slug. But then there was also a picture of the 3 Dinobots together in Dinobot form. Keeping with the 86 movie, they also showed the core class Spike. Full transformation, the ability to move the head underneath the helmet, and then some blast effects to plug into the ports. We veer back out of my lane with some Beast Wars like Sandstorm. I have no idea. I like the colors though. I'm not attached to the character at all, but it's bright. Then there's Night Prowler, who sounds like a lesser known 80s glam metal band. Also, there's a lot of cats in this line, and I say that as a casual observer, as a window shopper. You know what's a-coming. I'm sorry, Beast Wars fans, but this ain't Buzzsaw! But it is cool looking, I like the colors, I'm glad it exists for those of you who like Beast Wars. All the Beast Wars stuff is Walmart exclusive, because there's also the Beast Wars Vintage Scorponok. Again, I think of that name, I have a different image in my head, but it's a scorpion. It only makes sense. I mean, if you're going Beast Wars, everything has to become beastie. Scorponok is a scorpion. Along with Tigatron. I told you about the cats, didn't I? There's cats everywhere. Then for RED, there is Prime Knockout. I never watched Prime. This is unfamiliar, but it's a nice looking robot. And then there's RED G1 Ultra Magnus, who, yes, is just a repaint of the existing RED Optimus Prime. For Buzzworthy Bumblebee, there is B127, giving us a different head, a different color scheme to kind of differentiate it from the existing buzzworthy Bumblebee. There's also 86 Cup. Again, just a redeco of the Cup we had. They made a big deal about taking away the translucent windshield and was asking fans to vote or leave comments or let them know which you prefer. But if they're making both versions, does it matter? I guess what it comes down to is, hey, can we stop making the translucent, or would you keep the translucent and start making this? Actually, that's a pretty easy variant, isn't it? That's what we see with a lot of toy lines. Hey, we have this mold. Can we reuse it for anything? Yes, we can make this with different colors, less translucent plastic. Because it's the same for Cliff Jumper. They made him into his 80s cartoon colors with the gray legs. Is it brighter red on the body? And then the big honking bazooka that he can pull out from thin air. There's also some Hasbro Star Wars Black Series news. This week they revealed the Tython Jedi Ruins Boba Fett, and I cannot help thinking, yay, another Boba Fett. Whoever thought that I would be sick of seeing Boba Fetts? On top of that, it's an older Boba Fett, since they're working a year or two behind to give us figures from Mandalorian Season 2. While the Book of Boba Fett is going on. And I understand marketing. I get it. Hey, we're going to put some Boba Fetts out while a show called Book of Boba Fett is on. But still. Because when it comes down to it, I have no problem with this release. I mean, it is just reuse of the Tython fully robed Boba Fett with parts from the deluxe Throne Boba Fett. It's actually the Throne Boba Fett with the Tython Boba Fett's belt, and then the chip paint job. But this does lead to some inaccuracies because the shoulder pads are supposed to be on the top, hanging down, not on the actual shoulder itself. I see they did move the pants closer to a black color, but then they left the arms brown. So the robes that he has underneath the armor when he grabs it and puts it on real quick don't even match top to bottom. But then there is the price of $32 again. Why? I can accept that price when it's a character that requires a new sculpt that can't be used anywhere else, or it comes with extras. Maybe not a whole lot of extras, but extras that we may not get in a standard release. Here, we're pushing the third time we've seen most of these body parts. Not even mentioning the exasperation of showing the pictures on Monday, saying it would go up for pre-order on Tuesday on Walmart.com, which I forgot about that. That's another swift kick in the crotch, Walmart exclusive. But then canceling that on Tuesday and saying it'll be next Tuesday. And that'll be followed by a fan first live stream on Wednesday. There is no way in hell I'm keeping that chat open. Now you guys know me, I'm not an overly negative guy. I'm usually happy and cheery. So honestly, in my mind, I'm hoping during that live stream, they just put it all on the table. Do a lot of reveals for characters old and new, stuff we've been needing, stuff that will complement the stuff we've just been kind of chugging along on for the past several months. At this exact moment, I am tempted to let it ride. Skip the deluxes, get my SH Figuarts repaint Boba Fett from Mandalorian Season 2, and then wait for the inevitable Book of Boba Fett in his newest duds with the very clean look. I mean, really, the chip look only happened for the ass end of one episode. I say as I'm rubbing hands and licking lips waiting for that Cobb Vanth to come out. But at least he wore that armor for a whole episode. And now that I'm thinking about that, okay, spoilers ahead. Look away, child. Look away! Spoilers, we all good? Are we gonna see that in the standard line with the armor stripped off like we saw in the latest episode? And speaking of that latest episode, we're gonna get a re-release of Cad Bane with his aged head, his more subdued hat. It took me a minute to come around to the fuller face and lighter skin tone, but then you realize, oh, well, this is some years on, you know? He's aged. That's what happens. Anyway, Fan First Wednesday. The license is renewed. Let's start 2022 with a bang. Let's get things back on track. Let's get excited about Star Wars again. I'm not finishing the weekly with Star Wars. I'm actually cherry topping with Fortnite. No, I'm not running fever. I am sweating. It's a little hot in here. It's just that Hasbro let slip one of my most wanted Victory Royale figures, and I'm damn excited. First, though, there's promotional images of T and Tina and her glider that popped up on Walmart this week. And yes, I know, she's hitting shelves. People have her. It is shipping right now. I'm just saying, this is the first promotional images we've seen, so I'm going to show them. That's all I'm saying. Ooh, pretty. Look, it's an action figure with a glider. Looks pretty good. If $42, I'm going to have to cut back on my, oh, I'm just buying that to put in another shelf tactic. If I were to get this, look at that. Doesn't that look like a off-duty Dazzler or casual Boom Boom? I mean, there's already a boom on the shirt right there. And yeah, again, $42 is a punch in the pocketbook, but there's also man cakes coming. It's a cowboy with pancakes for a head, with quick draw 6-shooters and syrup and money bag back bling and a harvesting tool rifle with skewered flapjacks. A brilliant alternate eyepiece thing so he can go mustacheless, and then a full-on cannon. Did you believe for a second that I would not be making googly eyes here? Whew. You think you got sick of seeing Beef Boss pop up in videos? Just wait until I get my dirty paws on some sweet, sweet man cake. And yeah, I realize how that sounds. I don't care. That's how I feel. No release info yet. Hopefully soon, because I need this. And that's it for this week. If I missed anything, we'll swing back around, talk about it at a future date. You know we will. Toys always pop back up. If you're wanting to see any of these pictures up close without me all Boba Fett, another Boba Fett, I'll be posting all of that, plus links to pre-orders, more information on the Fwoosh front page Saturday at noon. And swinging back around to prices, oh man, that's on everyone's mind lately. Everything seems to be going up, especially with the bigger companies. There's smaller ones that are like privately owned or that don't have near the overhead as they're trying to keep the prices down, but I gotta think eventually they're gonna, and what it comes down to is we're gonna have to become more picky and choosy, and I know that is dumb. Coming from me, who's like, oh, plastic, give it, yes, pre-order, yes. Even subconsciously, I've known the prices are rising, and I sat and realized the other day that I've skipped out on the last 3 waves of Marvel Legends, and you know I love my Marvel Legends. A couple of years ago, it would have been no problem. Give me all of them. I will buy them. But now, it's like, do I really need that? Priorities, I guess. Collecting priorities. But we also have to keep in mind that everyone has their own different financial situations, different obligations, different priorities. And it may be hard to see eye to eye here because you may have no problem with it. I may not have any problem with it with certain toy lines and have a problem with it with others because I like this one more than that one. We all just have to look at ourselves, our own lives, our own wallets, our own shelf space, our own boundaries when it comes to paying a higher price for something that used to be way cheaper. What it comes down to is hitting them in the money, in the bank. If you don't like something, don't buy it. If you feel it's too high, don't buy it. Because I'm going to be doing the same. I'm still going to talk about stuff because I love looking at toys, but I may be buying a lot less, which feels weird because sometimes I think, well, I don't even buy these. Why do I talk about them? Because it's toys. Even if it comes down to me collecting pictures on my computer, that's where we're going to end up. But if you enjoyed this Fwoosh Weekly, comment, like, subscribe. Much, much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, let's catch you on the Fwoosh. Granted, one of those Marvel Legends waves was AOA. So I didn't mind missing on that. Well, no, actually, I think I got the Sabretooth. I kept it to 1. Was that the only one I got in that wave? Was Legion in that wave? I think we talked about this last year. I'm going to attempt to cut it down to X-Men and like classic comic book stuff. But we'll see how that goes.